Cancer has been a critical partner in advancing research for cancer.
It's just so inspiring to do research that impacts human lives.
So please help us fight in this battle against cancer.
Be a part of the team that ends cancer at standupcancer.com.
95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Good morning, area.
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Hell yeah, it's the Pregame Show. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I love the rain. Not a fan of the wind, but I love the rain. And it's been raining all weekend. Windy as hell the last 2 days. If your power went out, I hope it's back on. I got lucky somehow, some way. My power goes out when it's 70 degrees and sunny with no wind in the middle of the summer. Shout out Oakland, California. But 50, 60 mile an hour winds in East Oakland, sure. We'll leave the power on for you. But I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's the Pregame Show, Joe Spadoni. You know the number to get involved. It's 888-957-9570. Call or text the Comcast Business text line. We're also streaming all day long right here on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go ahead and search 95.7 The Game. Like and subscribe there. We do have a Warriors game tonight. Warriors Nets, and we are the home of the Golden State Warriors, 95.7 The Game. Coverage of that starts at 3:30 with Warriors Live before tip-off, which is at 4:30, again, right here on 95.7 The Game. And we'll also take your calls and text after with Warriors wrap-up. It's either Grandy or E-Dog, one of them. Either one of them do a hell of a job. It was FP over the weekend. I saw FP doing some Warriors wrap-up. Some Warriors pre and post. Shout out FP Santangelo. Comes right in there, and he's got all his Giant stuff. He's got all that in the bag, baseball, that. He's adding Golden State Warriors to his repertoire. Whew. Hey, we're building something here, baby. What did Hugh Jackson used to say for the Raiders? We're building the bully. That's what we're doing here at 95.7 The Game. Although, hopefully I have a longer tenure than Hugh did in Oakland. All right. Enough pleasantries. This is serious business, folks. A week from today, on this very show, we will either be reacting to an incredible win or another heartbreaking loss for the San Francisco 49ers and their hopes for a 6th Lombardi trophy. We are officially 1 week away from heartbreak or salvation for the faithful. And I saw them out, and they were faithful yesterday. I was talking about the 50-mile-an-hour winds all across the Bay Area, the rain. That didn't stop them. That didn't stop the faithful from saying goodbye to all the players, all the coaching staff, all their, all the people involved in the organization heading to the airport, flying down to Vegas, and hopefully if you are going to Vegas or you're in Vegas, everything's all well and good there. I saw some reporters doing play-by-play of their route to Vegas. Relax. Could not care less. Come on. I'm sorry it took you 12 hours to get from the Bay Area to wherever you needed to go in Vegas, but hey, you made it. So the Chiefs there, the Niners are there, and I believe Media Day is today, whatever, late afternoon, and obviously that's where you get some sound bites, you get some odd questions. Those guys are sitting there for hours on end. We might get a Marshawn Lynch, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Nah, they don't make him like Marshawn. He's very unique, to say the least. I love Beast Mode. Hopefully he's there, though. Maybe he asks some questions. What do you take? Do you take any shots of Hennessy pregame? Christian McCaffrey? Shout out Flag and Anthem, which I'm walking right now. Premium clothes without the premium price tag. Is that what it was? There you go. I'm free. I'm open, Christian. Hey, pregame show. We need a sponsorship, baby. Pregame show sponsored by Flag and Anthem. Hey, I'm all in. Okay, yeah. We will. Don't worry, people. We'll get to the debacle over the weekend with the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, they played tonight. Tough loss in overtime. Another clutch loss. Can we have another term for this, by the way, for the Warriors as they lose 141-134 against the Hot Atlanta Hawks? Should have Grant Liftman's Hawks just hanging around. They'll probably be sellers at the deadline, you would assume. Maybe the Warriors would be interested in one of their pieces. Maybe a DeJounte Murray. Maybe a Clint Capella. Who knows? But what I do know from the Warriors right now is they're 21-25, 8-12 on the road. And these clutch losses need to be called something else because it's anything but clutch. It's the opposite of that. I'm not going to call it choke losses because that's just, that's a little too aggressive. But when I hear the word clutch and loss at the same time, it's counterintuitive to me. I understand it's clutch time. It's a single digits with 5 minutes of a game, yada, yada, yada. I get all that. But another one? Really? Steph went for 60. 60. Second player after the age of 35 to score 60. The other one? That was Kobe Bryant, the last game of his NBA career, which Warriors fans should be familiar with because that's the day they went 73-9. But it was overshadowed because it was Kobe's last game. He got 60. And even all the Warriors players, I remember that. Who was that? Steph, Iguodala, Draymond. Caught myself. Almost said KD. Not there yet. They all went to the locker room and watched Kobe. Kobe's was in a win over the Utah Jazz. This one was another loss for the Warriors. And you cannot squander Stephen Curry performances like that. And even by his standards, it wasn't even the greatest shooting night. 22 of 38, 10 of 23 from beyond the arc, 60 points. The one that really pisses off Warriors fans, and don't worry, it is Super Bowl week. We will be breaking down this matchup constantly. I promise you that. Taylor Swift, by the way, 13th Grammy. Sam's fired up in the back. Announced a new album, April 19th. She knows what she's doing with that date, April 19th. We all know what the next day is. Little smile back there from Sam Lemon. He gets it. We'll get to all the matchup. Don't worry. And I like how I didn't even mention Mahomes, Purdy, McCaffrey. I just went with Taylor Swift right away. Oh, it's a storyline that's going to be sticking around until next week, and then I'll be glad it's all over. But we'll get to the game. Trust me. There's no place you want to be rather than 95-7 the game. For all your 49ers coverage. All week long, we will be breaking it down on every single show. Steiny is back today. I believe, I lock it in, whatever. Steiny's going to be back today. All right? What are the takes that guy's going to have? I don't know. But there'll be takes. We got Bonte and Shasky. And you have another opportunity twice today and tomorrow to have an eggs and toast with the roast. 7:30 and 8:30 today. Be tuning in to the Morning Roast, Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky, and you will have an opportunity to have breakfast with the morning show. Yours included, along with Sam Lubman, Joe Shasky, Bonte Hill, and that's all going to be provided by Proposition Chicken. Shout out Ari and Max, the owners over there, Proposition Chicken. And they do have breakfast, folks. If you're just thinking about chicken place and you have fried chicken, I don't really crave chicken in the morning time. Well, don't worry. They have breakfast sandwiches. They got breakfast options. And we are going to have those provided this Friday for eggs and toast with the roast. So again, 7:30, 8:30 today and tomorrow, your last opportunities to qualify there. All right. Warriors 141. Check that. Hawks 141. Golden State Warriors 134. You know what? I miss this man's voice. I haven't heard it all weekend. Give me some Tim Roy, and then we'll dive into it.
Murray will dribble it out. The Warriors won't foul. Golden State, yet another in a series of games that they have let get away. And the shame of it is that they let one get away on a historic night for Stephen Curry. His second highest point total in his career, 60 points. And the final is 141-134. to 134. The Hawks get the win.
The great Tim Roy on the call for 95-7 The Game. Again, your home for Golden State Warriors basketball. They take on the Brooklyn Nets tonight, and our coverage starts at 3:30. Another rough Clay game. That from the pregame show, YouTube chat. That's Sammy G. He's a G. Or she. Appreciate you chiming in. 888-957-9570. You can also hit us up on the Comcast Business text line, which is always open. Also give us a call, because you know what? You'll get in here. Hey, call whatever. If you're a Chiefs fan, if you're a Niners fan, if you're a Hawks fan, I don't care. This might as well be a national show here at 5 a.m. with a little local twist. We can talk about whatever we want. This is me and you. As a former host here at the station used to say, it's all about y'alls and your calls. Steve Kerr, your thoughts on Steph's performance and feeling bad for the guys?
Well, Steph was incredible. I mean, what a performance. I just feel so bad for him and for our guys because they're battling. Obviously, we're shorthanded and, back to back. And, I thought we really competed like crazy the whole game and just couldn't get over the hump. But Steph was sublime.
Andrew Wiggins and his injury.
Do you know anything on Wiggins yet?
He sprained his foot, but I don't know anything beyond that.
It's foot, not ankle.
From what I understood from Rick, it was his foot.
That is concerning. Very concerning. Now, Andrew Wiggins, prior to the last two games, obviously against the Hawks and then against Memphis, weren't his best. Obviously dealing with the injury. Last game, 19 minutes, 1 of 6. Only 2 points there from Wiggs. Prior to that, he was having a good stretch. Good. I'm not going to say it was great or anything like that because I think we were getting a little bit ahead of ourselves after that win against Memphis. People were like, oh, look at this team. Look at this squad. You know what? Man, they just beat the Sixers. Look out. Come on. Watching the games and just if you watch, and I know it's football season right now, it's all Niners. People haven't been able to digest a lot of the NBA, all the league pass, what have you. I understand all that. But if you've just watched any of the TNT or the ESPN, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, Wednesday night action, and you see some of the talent around the league, like I'm seeing the Lakers too, and you can toss them in with the Warriors. The talent discrepancy, just in the Western Conference alone, from top to bottom, it's just night and day. The depth I'm talking about. Because Stephen Curry is still as talented as anyone. The guys just dropped 60. LeBron James still as talented as anyone. Anthony Davis. Hell, Draymond Green. But outside of those guys, those depth pieces will be tested. And you're seeing that left and right against teams that aren't even great. Like the Atlanta Hawks. Like Klay Thompson. That was his worst game, probably of the year. 4 of 19, 2 of 13 from beyond the arc. Defense non-existent. 10 points. Just not good. A team worst for the starters, -10. Not good enough. And you can't squander performances like you had with Stephen Curry. Again, 60 points. Only the second time ever a guy 35 or older has done that. It's Steph and Kobe, 2 Hall of Famers. Historic performance that ends in a loss. And we are now 4 days ahead of the NBA trade deadline. What's going to happen? 3 days, I guess? Yeah. Shut up, math. Hard. Broadcasting communications major. Relax. What's going to happen? And now this Andrew Wiggins foot injury, this foot sprain, that tosses a whole new monkey wrench into the equation. Thankfully, Moses Moody looks like he's going to return to action today against the Brooklyn Nets. That's a positive. But when you thought you were moving something, I don't want to say a diminished piece, but a piece in Andrew Wiggins that you just don't know what it was. You just need to move off the money. I don't even know if you could do that anymore. Because a foot injury is very tricky. Very tricky. Especially for a guy as big as Andrew Wiggins is. You might not view him as a 7-footer, but these are big guys. and foot injuries, more so than an ankle, can linger a lot more, especially with the pressure involved, pushing off, all that. And as we know about sprains, they are slight tears in the ligaments. And you don't want to worsen that. So what's going to happen with the NBA trade deadline? Man, we'll be monitoring it for sure from the Warriors front. Maybe they stand pat, but I just, where this team is at right now, can you afford to do that? You want to be mired in mediocrity? At least if you move off from some pieces and, shovel away some of that money, open up some space for the cap this summer, maybe you go after another star. Who knows? But if you just stand pat, if you're a Warriors fan, that'd be tough to swallow. Very, very tough. 888-957-9570. All right. We'll continue to take your calls and texts on the Dubs. Just wanted to get that out of the way because it is Super Bowl week, but I feel like we needed to talk about that Warriors loss over the weekend. I mean, 60 points from Steph, and you have nothing to show for it. It's very, very rough. Very rough indeed. Speaking of rough, hopefully it wasn't the plane ride for all the players from the Chiefs or the Niners. Well, maybe the Chiefs. But they looked happy. They looked chill. And why shouldn't they be? I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid, they have been there. They have done that. Is all the pressure? I mean, I hate to do this because it is the Super Bowl. So it's a little redundant, if you will. But when you're talking about pressure in big games, usually it's on one team. Usually. Right? Usually there's the favorite. Like for the Warriors, for example. Go back to the Warriors. The KD years, they were expected to win the title. LeBron wasn't expected to. Right? Pressure is a privilege. And I think for the majority of the media, they expect Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce to win. Now, Vegas might say different as I pull up DraftKings right now and look at NFL odds. And it's still Niners, I see, -2. 2-point favorites. That really hasn't changed much. It's been fluctuating. Sometimes it was 2.5, sometimes, but it's kind of stayed there. Leveled off, if you will. But I think the majority of America are going to look at Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City and say they should win. Why? Because that's what we're used to. They beat the Niners 4 years ago, which seems like a lifetime ago because right after that, it felt like the pandemic happened. You know, they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but then they came back and they beat the Eagles last year. And now they're back in it. And everyone wrote them off because of a regular season. But you know and I know Patrick Mahomes doesn't make his bones in the regular season. He's like Brady and Belichick. You get them to the playoffs, all bets are off. And I wasn't betting against them. I may have picked against them on the show, but I never bet it. I thought the Ravens were the better team. Definitely had more depth. What happened? Mahomes. I thought if this was the year for Buffalo, I mean, they have the home field advantage. They have Josh Allen. They have Diggs. I mean, they're not the healthiest team, but hey, Mahomes and KC, this isn't the Tyreek Hill offense. This is the ground and pound and defense team. If this was the year for Buffalo, this was going to be the year, right? It wasn't. Mahomes won. And then Miami, everyone saw that coming. It wasn't even a hot take when I said they weren't going to get to double-digit points. They got 7, and that was because there was one bomb, misplayed, mistimed jump from the secondary. Tyreek Hill, night-night. That happens. He's good for one of those a game. But Miami and Tua, Mike McDaniel weren't winning that in Kansas City. And minus 30-degree weather, whatever the hell it was. Might as well have been played on Hoth. Shout out Star Wars. What I'm getting at here is this. I think the Niners are in a great spot. Everyone expects Kansas City to win this game. They do. And you might say Spadoni, Vegas. I don't care about Vegas. I'm saying the perception of this Super Bowl is Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. And that's great if you're the 49ers. You know what? They can't talk about them enough. I don't even want to be talked about. Niner fans be like, hey, well, what about our respect? Hey, this is where you want to be. Oh, Brock Purdy, yeah, he's going up against Mahomes. Oh, great. Keep underestimating him. I love that. Oh, Christian McCaffrey, yeah, he's a good player. George Kittle, yeah, but we got Kelce. Oh, Kyle Shanahan, yeah, we got Andy Reid. Great. They cannot underestimate the 49ers enough if I'm a fan. Continue to do so. That makes me feel better and better and better. Now, it's not going to be easy, but you have got to have an underdog mindset. I think if you're the 49ers, you are loving all the attention that those guys are getting. And if you're Kansas City, hey, that's the territory. And you got to lean into it. Patrick Mahomes, he's a showman. Kelce, even Big Andy Reid, he's got all the commercials now. By the way, can we retire the moniker of Fat Andy Reid? Since when does it become acceptable we can just say this guy's fat? Come on. Give the guy a break here. Oh, those Vegas buffets be hitting. Tell you what. Oh, hitting your wallets too. Kyle Shanahan. Talk about going up against a team in a head coach and quarterback duo like Kansas City.
It's not a coincidence why they have. I mean, I think the quarterback is as hard to beat as anyone who's ever played the game. The things he can do from a talent standpoint, and then you pair that up with his scheme with Andy, how Andy runs a team, with Mahomes' experience now. I mean, that's why no matter what type of game it is, whether it's low scoring, high scoring, whether they're struggling or not, I mean, they always have a chance. If they can keep it close, he's really tough to stop. And when you can always have a chance and you also got a really good defense, you got a great coaching staff, a great head coach, that's usually a very good formula to win most games.
They will always have a chance. That's why the key for this game, and we'll be talking about keys to the game all week, again, this time next week, we're going to be talking about either tremendous heartbreak or tremendous success for Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers. Either it's going to be a third Super Bowl loss in this century or their sixth Super Bowl win, which I want to say is tied for the most all time, correct? Yes. Steelers, 6, right? 4 in the 70s, 2 in this century with Big Ben, right? Okay. We've got, how many did the Cowboys win in the 70s? I think they got 6, 5 or 6 maybe. So maybe they're up there. Patriots, obviously, 6th, all within this century, which is nuts. And then you would get the Niners. And if I'm missing anyone, let me know. I think that's it, though. And you got to feel great about their chances moving on. If they win this one, going forward with their guy that they're calling Brock Purdy and this team. Because they got this window here. And you have got to capitalize now. And I don't care that it's Mahomes, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, one of the greatest head coaches in Andy Reid, the greatest tight end of all time in Travis Kelce, because I think that's what he's going to go down as. Whether you want to agree or disagree. If you want to go to the old total package, you want to say Gronk, that's fine. But I think when it's all said and done, Travis Kelce will be looked at as the greatest tight end of all time. There's no other way I would rather have it if I was a fan. Because the bragging rights, are you kidding me? The Niners win this game. You beat Patrick Mahomes. Brock Purdy will have that on his resume forever. If he never wins another one, it doesn't even matter. If he ends up flaming out in a couple of years, it doesn't matter. Think it matters to Nick Foles? Is he even in the league? No. But you know who he beat in a Super Bowl? Oh, the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. Eli Manning, 2 of them against Tom. And Eli's probably going to get in the Hall of Fame because of it. Because of 2 runs and against the greatest team, again, that 2007 Patriots team. I don't care. I will die saying this. As the greatest team I ever saw. And Eli freaking Manning beat Tom Brady in that one. David Tyree, right? Plaxico Burress, the rest is history. Brock Purdy has a chance to etch his name into history if he goes on and beats the Chiefs. I don't even care how it looks. Just get the damn win. Running the ball with Debo, with McCaffrey, not with Jennings, please God, don't do that. But it doesn't matter how it looks. Now, you would like to get off to a fast start. You'd like to. Oh, by the way, we have this kickoff to the big game now here in the studio. I love this. 6 days, 10 hours, 5 minutes. Oh, now it's 4 minutes. It's pretty cool. I think there's a read along with this, Sam, but I don't know if I have to do that. Yeah, shrug. Yeah, it's fine. Sam, by the way, thank you for holding it down on Friday. I was out under the weather. I am back better than ever, baby. Let's go. I'm fired up. We got a week. Until we find out if the Niners are Super Bowl champions or Super Bowl losers again. This is where you want to be. Only 2 markets get to dissect this game like we're dissecting it all week long right here on 95.7 The Game. Kansas City and San Francisco. How sick is that, Sammy? Got the smile on his face. Let's go. I'm fired up, baby. You know who else is fired up? I'm going to play this. I think this will set the tone for the week. Bill Romanowski. Here's the question, too, from the morning show. And Romo, be my dad. That's what the guys used to say at the Raiders tailgate. Bill Romanowski.
That defense is flying around hitting people. To go to Baltimore in that environment and out-hit the Ravens to confuse them and shut down their running game, it's going to be a hard-hitting football game, Romo.
It is going to be a hard-hitting football game, but at the end of the day, I believe Mahomes is a crybaby. And yes, he's talented, but he is a big-ass crybaby. And he drives me crazy. And I think we're going to out-hit them. I think we're going to be more physical than them. And that's going to be the difference in this football game.
Why do you say he's a crybaby? I'm just curious. Is because they're complaining to the officials?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it drives me crazy. Play the game. Okay, stop whining to the officials. That stuff drives me crazy.
Okay. Bill Romanowski. I love it. And he is playing the game. Because that's how the game is played now. You got to keep up to the officials. Mahomes, Brady, LeBron. They all do it. Not saying it's right or wrong. Just, it is what it is. More of your calls, more of your texts on the other side. 888-957-9570. A week from today, we're breaking down a Niners Super Bowl win or loss. And I want to hear from you, the fans. How are we feeling? This is when the butterflies start to get kicking off. What matchup are you looking for? What are you circling in this one, Niner fans? 888-957-9570 as we're breaking down Chiefs, Niners, Super Bowl. Let's go. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect.
Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Fired up, baby. It's the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. We're talking Super Bowl. Talk a little about the Warriors and their overtime loss to Atlanta over the weekend. We can take your calls and texts on that if you'd like. Warriors taking on the Brooklyn Nets tonight. Coverage of that starts at 3:30 right here on 95.7 The Game. Your home for Golden State Warriors basketball. But it's Super Bowl week. You know, last week was kind of a primer. You're enjoying the high of getting to the Super Bowl again. You know, a great comeback, the largest comeback in the history. What was it, the conference championship game? 17-point deficit, or is it playoff history? Either way. I mean, ridiculous showing from Brock Purdy when they needed him, from Christian McCaffrey, from Deebo Samuel, from everyone. Brandon Ayuk with a Lynn Swann type catch. I mean, when stuff like that happens, don't you feel like it's your year, right? Don't you feel like that, Niner fans? Because it's starting to have that special feel to it. Now, as I've often compared him to. Patrick Mahomes is Thanos. What does Thanos like to say if you're a Marvel nerd like I am? Reality is often disappointing. He can snap his fingers. We all start fading away. That was a horrible snap. That was much better. There we go. Shout out Lil Jon. Snap your fingers and do the step. Lil Jon, by the way, I expect him to be at this performance. And Ludacris as well. All the Atlanta peeps for Usher, the halftime show. If I don't get yeah right off the top, I'm going to be fuming. Come on. It's got to be yeah. It's got to... Oh, we got a bunch of calls here. I'll go to them in a second. Oreo Cookie, Fernando in San Jose. Richie in San Jose. Before I get to you guys, I want to get thoughts from the 2020 Super Bowl squad. And we have some thoughts from the head coach and from this guy, Nick Bosa, who's going to be a huge factor in this one because outside of Bosa, last week against Detroit, outside of him, a lot of disappointing players on the defensive line. I know Bosa's going to show up. Who else is going to show up? That's going to be the question for them. But here's Bosa about watching tape from the 2020 Super Bowl.
You were pretty adamant after that game that you weren't going to watch it. You didn't watch it. Have you indeed watched it or been forced to watch it this week?
Yeah, no, I've watched it. Yeah.
What kind of feelings did that bring up?
It's definitely just I start sweating a little bit. But it's fun to watch. I mean, that's a Super Bowl defense right there, and we got to take a page out of that if we want to go win it.
Were you held on the Wasp play?
On which one?
The 3rd and 15.
I don't think they had the back view, but yeah, I'm sure. It's Eric Fisher.
Oh, yeah, it was Eric Fisher. And real quick, asked about Kansas City's tackles. Here's what Bose had to say about them this year.
Taylor and Smith, when you watch them on film, Taylor's, I think, leads the NFL. Ton of penalties. Anything stand out when you watch them?
They hold a lot.
There you go. They hold a lot. That was our own Larry Kruger asking the question. 888-957-9570. Is that the matchup you're looking at, or is there another? Again, 1 week today from right now, we're going to find out whether 49ers are 6-time Super Bowl champions or 3-time Super Bowl losers within the last century. Hell, within the last decade. 12 years. Whatever. Oreo Cookie. God, I can go for an Oreo Cookie right now. He wants to join in the conversation. What's going on, Oreo Cookie out in Oaktown?
What's going on, man? Quest for 6 is alive and kicking right now. Let me tell you why I think we're going to win this week. The last time we were in the Super Bowl, there was 4 players that we did not have that are going to get us over the top. I'll start with Trent Williams. We did not have him. CMC, of course, that's a beast. Purdy, that's without saying. And Ayuk. Those 4 we did not have, and this time we're going to get it done. This time we have an offensive team. Last time we had a defensive team, and as a fan, I would always love to see our defense out there on the field because I knew something good was going to happen. But this year it's flipped. Our offense is on fire. We're going to win 35-21.
There it is. That's Oreo Cookie out in Oakland. 35-20. Where are we doing predictions on a Monday? Hey, I don't hate. You have your predictions. That's fine. 35-21. I do think for the 49ers in this game, getting out to a hot start, a fast start, is crucial. Something weird happens in the NFL. You know, everything else happened in the last couple of weeks for the 49ers. They got off to slow starts, and then they had to come back. Things change in the Super Bowl, though. I think they get off to a fast start in this one, and then they hang on for dear life. Or maybe they don't have to hang on. Maybe they just build and build and build off that. This Chiefs team, for as much as we say the Niners aren't built to come from behind, I know they have Mahomes and Kelsey, so whenever you say that, it's like hold your breath. But really, they're a power running team now. They're not built to come from behind. Their last loss, the Chiefs, we all watched it. It was on Christmas. And what happened in that game? And yes, it was against the Raiders, who, by the way, are hiring Luke Getsy as their offensive coordinator. After Cliff Kingsbury and the Raiders couldn't come to a deal. Kingsbury now signing with Washington with Dan Quinn, and the Raiders settle, and Antonio Pierce settles for Luke Getsy. I mean, when has an offensive coordinator from Chicago ever worked out, ever? Anyways, I'm going to get upset now. Neither here nor there. But now I lost my train of thought. And now I'm upset. This is what happens. I get upset. I get all of my feelings about some dumb hire over the weekend. I lose my train of thought. Fernando in San Jose got me back on track. Then I'll finish my point. Fernando, what's going on, man? You're on the pregame show, Joe Spadoni.
What's going on, Spadoni? Hey, I'm just calling in to chime in on the matchup. McCaffrey's going to run the ball down the throat, bro. McCaffrey and Ayuk, they're going to get down. And Purdy's going to get off. Purdy's going to prove himself. He's going to show everybody what he's about this weekend on Sunday.
Okay.
So we're going to spank him. I say we're going to spank him.
All right. You're not scared of Mahomes and Reed and all those guys?
Nah.
Now they're soft?
They're soft, bro.
Oh, there it is.
Romo said. Like Romo said.
He's a crybaby. You agree with Romo? Yeah,
Yep.
Mahomes is a cry.
Yep.
He does do a little whining. I'll agree with that, Fernando. Thanks, man. That's Fernando out in San Jose. And I remember my train of thought now. I was talking about the Raider game, which is the Chiefs' last loss on Christmas Day. What happened? They got down early. There was a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and there was a pick six from Jack Jones. Their quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, didn't even complete a pass outside of the first quarter. What did they do? They leaned on their running game after that. So if you get a lead on this Chiefs team, you can keep it. But that's where the defense has to come into play as well. And the defense for the Niners needs to show up this week. That defensive line needs to show up. Because the offense showed up last week. They did. Defense needs to do the same, and you'll be hoisting their 6th Lombardi. Richie, hang on. I'll get to you on the other side. I will get to you, I promise. 888-957-9570. We're up against it a little bit for this break. One more coming back before handing it off to Bonta Hill and Joe Shasky, who, by the way, tune in 7:30 and 8:30 today and tomorrow. Eggs and toast with the roast, giving you, a listener and a guest, an opportunity to come have breakfast with the morning show this Friday, kicking off Super Bowl weekend here at the station. So come, hang out, all catered by Proposition Chicken. And yes, they have breakfast options. Tremendous breakfast options. Tremendous. The greatest options. The greatest. Sorry, I had to do it. So do that, 7:30 and 8:30, 888-957-9570. It's the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. Come on back, one more segment before tossing it off to the roast.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to
Thanks, Tim. My friend, Tim Roy, right there on the rejoin. California Sports Hall of Fame. Broadcasting Hall of Fame, whatever. It's the Hall of Fame everywhere. Tim Roy, one of the best in the business. You'll hear his voice today, 4:30. Warriors tip off against the Brooklyn Nets. Coverage of that starts at 3:30 with Warriors Live right here on 95.7 The Game, your home for Golden State Warriors basketball. But it's Super Bowl week, baby. In Vegas. How nuts is that? In Vegas. And all the storylines galore. I know Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky, they're up next. They got some interesting storylines. They want to break down what's hitting them. I'm sure they'll get into a little bit of the Warriors over the weekend. Warriors take another L, this time in overtime to the Atlanta Hawks, 141-134. Stephen Curry dropped 60, but another loss. Andrew Wiggins, that's another loss. Sprained foot. See how long he's going to be out. That's concerning. So a lot to digest here as the NBA trade deadline is only 3 days away too. What's going to go on there? A lot happening this week in the Bay Area. 888-957-9570. The storyline, the matchup that you're looking at this week is what? In 1 week, we're going to find out whether the 49ers are 6-time Super Bowl champions or 3-time Super Bowl losers. 888-957-9570. We're getting you fired up all week long right here on 95.7 The Game. Where else would you want to be? Richie in San Jose. He's on the pregame show. What's going on, Rich?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I think the key for the Super Bowl for the Niners is the D line. They need to lock down on that run defense, especially with Pacheco out there because he's been going crazy. And then I think the secondary will do their thing. And then on offense, I feel like they should come out. You know, they do the first 15 scripted plays or whatever. I think they should come out firing with just pass plays, take some shots, try to get 7 right off the bat. And then if they get that, let the defense do their thing, and then just run McCaffrey 25 times.
Really? So you want them to start, Rich, not to cut you off there, you want them to start throwing it, not running it.
Yeah,
this isn't a very good run defense in Kansas City. That's one of their weaknesses. And I think the Ravens got a little bit too pass happy in the AFC Championship, and that cost them. They only had outside of Lamar Jackson, they had 6 rushing attempts. So you don't think they should run on them early?
Not early, because I feel like the Chiefs, Andy Reid will probably think, okay, they're going to start heavy with McCaffrey. They won't see it coming. I said the same thing when Garoppolo was playing against the Chiefs last time in the Super Bowl. I said, you know what? They should just come out 5 wide, air it out. They would never see it coming. And that's just my opinion. And I think Kyle understands that because all they're going to think is, okay, our run defense isn't that great. They're just going to start offloading McCaffrey immediately, and that's why I think they should just throw it. And also, you could see let Brock, because he's going to be S in his pants out there probably just because second year quarterback, Super Bowl, first time ever being in the Super Bowl, and he's probably like, oh man, this is wild. So see what he could do. If he could lock in early, then perfect. If not, then you start handing off to McCaffrey afterwards, and you see what happens, and then let the defense do their thing. If you get that first touchdown really quick, you're up 7-0. Let the defense cook, and then we'll be all right.
There he is. That's Richie in San Jose. He's cooking here on the pregame show. 888-957-9570. I don't agree. I would like to start off with the run, but to each their own. I don't think Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, and that's the matchup here. The defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo, obviously former defensive coordinator for the New York Giants under Tom Coughlin. Obviously, he was the architect of that great defense against the New England Patriots when they had their almost perfect run back in 2007. He was the one that, battered, bruised, and broke Brady in that game. I should say he was the one. He wasn't out on the field, Steve Spagnuolo, I should say. But the players, right? You think of Michael Strahan. Was Jason Pierre-Paul on that team? Justin Tuck. You just think about the players on that squad and how they are able to get to Brady in that one. That's going to be a massive chess game in this one. It's going to be Kyle Shanahan versus Steve Spagnuolo. And who is going to win? That's what it's going to come down to for me. That's the number one thing I'm circling. And you can have your player matchup, but that's the one for me. Wilkes versus Reed? Maybe. Maybe. But this goes back to Kyle Shanahan and the pressure that is going to be on him. Because if he doesn't win this one, then the question starts to get in the back of your mind, can he win it? That was with Andy Reid. The parallels in this game between the two head coaches are fascinating because it looks like it's a mirror, right? If Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan look at each other in the mirror, although, polar opposites, body types. We're not body shaming here on the pregame show. But they just, they look at each other like, hey, that was me. Andy Reid's looking at him like, that was me prior to Mahomes. Then he got Mahomes and everything changed. Is Brock Purdy going to be like that for Kyle Shanahan? I'm not saying Brock Purdy is Patrick Mahomes, but can he be his version of help bring in a Super Bowl to him? We'll see. Eric is out in the town. He wants to join in on the pregame show. What's going on, Eric?
Hey, good morning. I just heard that last caller, and I have to disagree with him 100%. Yeah. There is no way that I'm starting my young quarterback in the biggest game of his life 5 wide. There's no way. That sounds like a gambler that just wants to make some money.
It is Vegas, Eric. It's Vegas, baby. It's you got to gamble. Am I right?
I get it, but don't gamble at the expense of a Super Bowl for the 49ers. For me, the quarterback's best friend is a solid running game. You get the running back going, you get play action off of it, some simple and easy throws in the flats just to get them loose and get them out there and have them get used to the game and the volume and then sound and after the national anthem and all blah, blah, blah. That's how you get them going. Okay, the one thing I would say is you need to have scripted plays for the second half because that halftime Super Bowl break or whatever is going to be long. So that's the time to get multiple plans in there in case things are going right or in case things are going wrong. Number one. Number two is you have to have a play script if Debo doesn't play for whatever reason. So you have to have the game plan for everybody and the no Debo game plan just in case something happens. We don't want us to come up short just because we didn't have a plan for him for him to get injured. So running game, get them comfortable. They are beatable. And then hopefully the defense are embarrassed enough from what everybody's saying. Hopefully Chase Young has a chip on his shoulder. Javon Hargraves is angry that nobody's talking about him. Hopefully they are mad enough from what's been put on tape, the first 2 playoff games, that they come out in the Super Bowl and they tighten things up and they play the football we know. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm hoping at least. So go Niners.
There you go. That's Eric in Oakland, 888-957-9570. I agree with Eric there. The last thing I want to do is put Brock Purdy in a situation where he can lose the game. Now, he's been a massive reason why they've won in the playoffs, but early on, you can't deny it. He's been shaky. He's been very shaky at best. Darnell Savage drops a pick 6. We might not even be here, but we are. If you're the 49ers, you're looking at this saying, what has been my bread and butter all year long? It's been running the damn ball. And that just so happens to be the number one weakness for Kansas City, is their run defense. The blueprint is out there. Run the ball on this team. You have the best running back in football. It's not rocket science. Get Karlaftis, get Chris Jones, get those guys, huffing and puffing early on. And I'm feeling great. And by the way, he was talking about Chase Young and having a chip on his shoulder. Is it that massive Dorito-sized chip I'm seeing from the Luxor Hotel, the big pyramid? Is that what it is? He better have that size of a chip on his shoulder. Because outside of Bosa, I'm calling out this defensive line. Hargrave, Randy Gregory, all those guys. Eric Armstead. They need to step up. Massive, massive opportunity here for this team and for Kyle Shanahan. You cannot squander another Super Bowl. Can't. I have no problems with Nick Bosa. He scratched off those concerns last game. He showed up. He earned his paycheck. He earned that holdout. Absolutely. The biggest game of the season, which was last week for the 49ers, he showed up. Now he needs to do it again, and I'm confident he will do that. Here's what the GOAT, Jerry freaking Rice, had to say last week, breaking down the Chiefs and 49ers matchup.
We got to get to Patrick Mahomes, and man, that's a hard task. And Travis Kelce, I would double him 100%. And also, Taylor Swift, I would double her 100% too. Because we don't want Travis to get going because, every time Travis is going, then, the camera goes up to the box with Taylor Swift. And, so we got to change that. And if we can do that, I feel like we have a legitimate chance. But it's going to be up to our defensive line and also that secondary to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes and get some turnovers. And then we got to, be able to get off to a fast start. The last ball game, 24-7 at halftime. We don't want to be in that position with the Kansas City Chiefs, and especially with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes.
That was Jerry Rice at the Senior Bowl last week in Mobile, Alabama. I think he's talking to NFL Network reporter Tom Pelissero there. So Jerry Rice, the GOAT, weighing in on the matchup. Double T Swift. By the way, T Swift winning her 13th Grammy and then announcing it in the acceptance speech. They got a new album coming out April 19th. It's a flex. But the biggest flex last night from the Grammys, it wasn't from T Swift. It's Tracy Chapman and Luke Combs. What a combo. Fast car. It's an all-timer right there. Happy Tracy Chapman. Got her moment of fame there. Slept on song. Absolutely. And Luke Combs doing the cover with her, doing the duet. Hey, bravo. One of the best performances I've seen at the Grammys in quite some time. And one of the best performances coming up here on the Morning Roast, maybe, just maybe, Bontemps and Joe Shasky kicking off Super Bowl week on 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.